can't afford to lose to the Russians. We need to shoot that version of the moon landing.
You mean to fake it?
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2024 rom-com Fly Me to the Moon. The film is directed by Greg Berlanti and it stars Scarlett Johansson, Channing Tatum, Woody Harrelson, Ray Romano, and we also have Noah Robbins, Donna Elise Watkins and Colin Woodall. Right, okay, this film focuses on NASA in the early 70s. They've had some setbacks. They're struggling with budget cuts. There's been devastating accidents at NASA. And now they're planning on going to the moon to put the first people on the moon, Neil Armstrong, etc. However, they're really, really struggling. So Woody Harrelson's character, who works for the government, brings in Scarlett Johansson's character, Kelly, who is an advertisement specialist. She's a marketing specialist. She's brought in to make NASA relevant, hip, trendy, and a force to be reckoned with in regards to the public eyes. Her job is to turn the space project into the most popular thing in America and to turn the astronauts involved into rock stars, and she does a brilliant job. However, the government are worried now that she's made them too popular and they cannot afford for the moon landing to fail. So she's ordered to do a fake moon landing just in case the real one doesn't pay off. Right, what are my thoughts on Fly Me to the Moon? Well, I mean, I've been hearing some quite good things about this film. That's the reason why I'm here reviewing it for you guys, because I wanted to check it out for myself. Everyone I know who's been to see this said they had a good time and they enjoyed it, so I thought I'd check it out as well. And I have to say, I really quite agree with them. This film is, very entertaining, very enjoyable, quite charming, and a fun time, really, at the cinema. It's a film that I can easily recommend to you guys. Is it perfect? No. But it's undeniably charming stuff, really, here. I think what we've got on display here as well is we've got two fantastic leads. We've got Scarlett Johansson, who finally, it seems, is maybe shedding that Marvel persona, the Black Widow that she took with her for so long. I mean, she's always been a fabulous actor, Scarlett Johansson, and as good as she was as Black Widow and as good as she was in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you could also argue that it's kind of shackled her progress as an actress in regards to her growth. And she really does get to spread her wings here and show her acting ability. And she's very, very good here as this Kelly Jones. This very relatable, lovely character who's got a little bit of a cheeky side in the sense of, she's a marketing specialist. So she's quite easy at like spinning a yarn here and there or kind of, putting a different perspective on the truth, which is at odds for much of the film with Channing Tatum's character, Cole Davis, who is like the, let's call him the head of NASA. That's not his title in the film, but he's like one of the top guys at NASA. He's an ex-pilot, he did 52 missions or something in Korea. He's very passionate about the project at NASA, and he doesn't want the credibility of it threatened. And unfortunately, Kelly Jones's character is doing exactly that in his eyes. So initially, there is quite a bit of friction between these two characters, but also at the same time, there's a huge amount of chemistry between them as well. And kind of where it's heading eventually in regards to, these two characters hitting it off. And they play around with that for quite a long period in the film, and it's quite nice. And there really is some fantastic chemistry between Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum. They really work quite well off each other. And it's a real central point of the film. I also quite enjoyed Ray Romano here as Henry Smalls, another player in NASA. And, you know, it's a reasonably small role, but I've always been a fan of Ray Romano. I was a big fan of Everybody Loves Raymond, and every time I see him in something, there's just, I don't know, something about him, and he's generally very good, and he's very good here as well. And Woody Harrelson can play these kind of parts with his eyes shut, you know, the shady government guy who is pulling the strings from, you know, in the background sort of thing. And he does it effortlessly here, and he does it with real charm and his tongue in his cheek. And that's a big selling point here for this film. It's so charming, and it's got its tongue in its cheek. You can't help but kind of just be entertained. It's one of those films that you can just sit back, relax. You don't need to worry too much about following plots and complex storylines and, you know, long drawn out dialogue or, you know, really intense scenes. It feels quite old fashioned in its approach, not only because it's set in the 70s, but it's like almost like an old fashioned film in the way it's presented to an audience member. We don't see an awful lot of them, not like this anymore. Certainly, in my opinion, anyway. And the whole concept of like faking the moon landing is nothing new. It's been a conspiracy theory for a long, long time. And there were reports at one point that Kubrick actually directed the fake moon landing. And there was even a documentary that came out before his death, where he's interviewed and he actually admits that he filmed the moon landing, but in actual fact it was a mockumentary. It wasn't real, and it's actually been debunked a few times that the moon landing was actually fake. It is actually considered by most, I don't know, I was about to say sane people, but most sensible people, I'll say, that the moon landing did in actual fact occur. But this film really plays around with that concept. It does a fine job of it as well, in my opinion. So I'm not going to lie, I had quite a good time with this film. You know, it's got memorable characters, it's well written, there's some fun witty dialogue going on. It's got this real nice retro look and feel to the film, and it's got a real comfortable vibe when you're watching it. You know, I say, it's got a real old-fashioned feel to it as well. The production values are fantastic as well. Do you know what I mean? And there are definitely laugh out loud moments here in this film. There was definitely more than one here. There's this really camp director that they bring on board to kind of direct the fake moon landing, who's hilarious, really, in my opinion. And there's quite a few other memorable characters here in there, but none of that detracts, I don't think, from the two stars of this film. And I do say that, the two stars of this film, which is Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum. They really carry this film, and they carry it very, very well. It's the first time I can honestly say I've looked at Channing Tatum and thought, that's a leading man. I've seen a few amount of his stuff, and I can't honestly say I've said that before, but he gives a very strong and confident performance here as Cole Davis. And he came across as, like, you know, a really strong romantic lead in the film, a really well acted performance by him, complemented Scarlett Johansson's performance absolutely brilliantly. You know, is this going to win awards for Film of the Year, that sort of thing? Probably not, but it deserves to be doing quite well at the box office because, as I said, it's a real fun, entertaining, and charming film that I don't imagine many people are going to watch and be disappointed when they finish with the film, because it's almost impossible to be disappointed. You know, it follows the rules of rom-coms. It does all the things right, and it's got that retro charm to it as well. So yeah, I was suitably impressed with this one. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. I will, of course, be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.